Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Indo Chef podcast. I'm Curtis. This is Laura.
Hi.
And this is Honeymoon. She wanted to join us for this one. So today we are discussing tipping with Reddit.
We have a
Might get wild. I have hot takes on tipping, but I don't know if we'll get to mine. There might not be enough time. Am I the asshole for always tipping 20%? 20% is a lot. I don't think I've ever tipped 20%.
A lot of people do, but maybe not always. Like if you get crappy service, why are you doing it always?
Yeah, it's like 15 is considered standard.
No, I don't know. But nowadays, I think it might be 15 and 20.
Yeah.
But anyways, go
Well,
ahead.
for like on average, 15, and then 20 if it's really good, and if you have excess money, 25.
Yeah.
Depending on how much the bill is. Like if it's like a $20 meal, it's not a big deal. But if it's like dinner for the family and the bill's $500, then it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So during college, I had met 3 other girlfriends while all working at a bar together. This is roughly 4 to 5 years ago at this point, and since then, I've trickled out all the restaurant bar service industry. I've trickled out the restaurant/bar service. Okay, maybe she's not in the business anymore.
Okay.
That must be what it is. No longer a server.
What are you doing?
Last night, I was out.
Hold up.
Oh, she wants down. Okay. Last night, I was out with these friends for happy hour and light snacks. When it came to the checks, my friends and I split the bill 3 ways evenly. Our service was standard without any issues. However, one of my friends, Danielle, has stayed in bartending positions by choice. She loves it, and we love that she enjoys it. Our check, once divided among us evenly, was around $30 per person. My tip was $6, as I always give 20% because it's standard. Danielle, who is still in the industry, goes off on me for only leaving 20%.
What?
Because she feels like I owe the service industry some sort of extra gratitude as a former employee who worked off the tips previously. My other friend, Hannah, had originally tipped $6, but after the conversation with Danielle, ended up leaving $10. Danielle afterwards said to me, "It's only a couple extra dollars. It could mean nothing to you, but the world to someone else." And when I defended my tip, saying I worked just as hard for my money as everyone else does, Danielle aggressively tells me, "Well, if you need $5 that bad, I'll just give it to you." Am I the asshole for sticking to my 20% tip?
She's so rude.
Absolutely not.
So rude.
It's like you owe it to the industry?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
No one owes anything to their industry.
No.
You work and people pay you money. That's how work works. Like, it's different in the States because you can legally pay someone $4 an hour, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
In Canada, you get paid
We don't do that.
wage, maybe more plus tips. So like in BC, it's 17 something an hour.
It's almost $18 an hour.
Pretty much $18 an hour for like any job.
Plus your tips.
In BC, you're basically getting $18 an hour plus your tips. It is different in different countries. Many countries don't tip at all. The restaurants have scruples and pay their workers properly. This is not a worker issue. This is an employer issue. And if your boss doesn't pay you enough, work somewhere else.
There's the tipping thing where you go to a restaurant, you order at the front, pay, and then sit down and they bring it to you. Do you tip them? Because you paid at the front?
Cafeteria style.
When they really the only thing that server is doing is literally bringing it from the back to the front, and that's it. They don't check on you afterward.
Yeah.
You get your own drink. Like, do you tip them?
It's weird.
Right? Or Subway.
Or Subway.
Okay, they're probably doing more than that person bringing the stuff from the back to you.
Yeah.
Yet you don't tip them.
And when you're the person that wants extra pickles, and then more extra pickles, and then more extra pickles, they got to put up with you.
I'm a custom beef.
So they deserve that tip more than most regular service.
Right, but you don't expect to tip them. So like it's very,
There's a disconnect.
yeah. It's like it doesn't really make sense. But anyways,
But this thing saying she owes the industry, I call BS on that. That is baloney.
yeah.
And let's see what the comments say. Okay, this is from an American. Independent voter 40. Not the asshole. Here in the US, 20% is a standard tip, and her calling you out is bad form. She shouldn't drive her morals on you, especially considering nothing was above and beyond. Typically speaking, I tip somewhere between 20 to 25% unless the service is above and beyond. And
That's so much.
that's so much.
That's crazy.
And coming back to the original poster, who is Whitney times 3, that's how I feel too. I would love to be able to give someone 21% if the service was exceptionally above and beyond. Or if I'm celebrating someone or something and they just make the experience really enjoyable for my guests. 3 girls out on a Thursday for happy hour and all basic expectations met deserves a 20% tip in my mind.
Yeah.
So if 20% is standard in your area, then 20% is
That's
white.
still a lot more money than you, like, that's still...
And then efficient way 60-40 or 60-64 says, not the asshole, 20% is a standard. Danielle is tripping.
Danielle, what a bitch.
Yeah. To the streets.
That's streaks.
And then plain blueberry 3570 says, nowadays 15 was a standard until apparently we have to pay more and tip with a higher percent. So we're forking out more cash so that restaurant owners can make more money. This is where I have beef.
Yeah, this is the problem. Like,
This is where my beef is. In the last few years, maybe since COVID happened, all of a sudden, everyone's demanding a large tip.
everyone.
We're speaking for Canada only, so Americans, you can just simmer down. You go to, say, like Chopped Leaf, that's a salad place, down a little iPad up there, your total's like $20 for a salad. They spin it around, and the tip function comes as like 3 buttons on the screen, and it'll be 15, 20, 25.
There's not even an option for anything less, and it's fast.
And it's like fast food. Why do you need to suddenly have 25 as an option when they're not even taking to your table?
Yeah. They're literally putting it in a fast food bag and giving it to you. Like, that's not, to me, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And the counter argument is that they need that money to live. I need my money to live too. And like, whether you're, like, for example, I worked in retail for a long time, and we would get the same hourly wage as most other stores and restaurants at that time, which is like 100 years ago now. It was like
Stone Age.
$9.50 an hour or something.
It was less than that.
Yeah. And my friends that were servers, we make that plus their tips. And they would always complain, oh, I didn't get that much tips tonight. It's like, well, I got 0 tips yesterday because I'm in a different industry.
Yeah.
So what makes you entitled to this getting other people's money? It's like your boss can pay you more money, and you could also apply somewhere else. Like, if you're a regular adult paying bills, not a college student and a kid or something, you can work somewhere else. When you're younger, you just take what you get. You're going to work there for 6 months, maybe a year.
If you're lucky, some young people are the worst.
Yeah.
They're like 2 weeks, they're gone.
Yeah. And like, if it's a temporary job,
Whatever,
right?
Yeah.
But you need to be making a certain threshold, especially these days, to
even
live.
Mm-hmm.
But relying on tips, I think, is panhandling in the workplace. It's like 5 minute comments. I think the tipping system is ridiculous. It should be done away with completely. Australia doesn't tip. Most of Europe doesn't tip. Why do we tip in North America?
Yeah, and like, people are always saying, like, if you can't afford to tip, then you shouldn't be going out for food. Not everyone can afford that extra $6 to $10 on top of what they're paying.
It's cumulative. Like, it adds up.
It adds up. If you, let's say you go
$6 one time isn't going to break you.
right, but if you go out, let's say you go out 4 times a month, and that extra $10, let's say you're tipping $10 on average every time.
That's $40.
That's an extra $40 that didn't necessarily need to go to someone just doing their job.
Let's get some
we know
comments
to
here.
callous, but
Yeah.
there's so many industries that
So many
people are
meaning.
working so hard, and like way harder than servers. Not, I've been a server, I know how hard it is, but they're working way harder than servers. They're not getting tips.
Yeah.
Like the people out in the fields picking blueberries all day in the 35-degree heat, they're not getting tips. So like,
Yeah, they just get called racist names and
they just get
back to the country.
shafted for everything else. Yeah.
So Stage Embarrassments 250 says, if anything, percentages should come down since food cost is going up and they're performing the same task.
Mm-hmm.
Care Bear 5308 is saying tip on service, not the total of the food bill.
How does that work?
I don't know how that would work.
Like just tip, like
Just give them an extra.
it was a $2 jobby that they did, like instead of a 20% of your bill. Like, how do you determine that?
Another one, Doug 5209. I also worked in the service industry and feel 20% is sufficient. The only exception for me is that I never leave less than $5. So if I go out by myself and my check is $20, I'll leave $5, not the asshole.
Yeah.
That's pretty generous, I think.
I think so. In general, going back to the story, she left 20%. Everyone else left 20%. At least they didn't leave nothing.
They could have left nothing.
Or
Yeah.
5%, 10%.
Yeah.
People can choose whatever they want.
And
so
someone else can't speak for how you spend your money.
Yeah. And also how you view it too.
Yeah.
Like some people
I say not the asshole and don't be friends with them anymore. They sound like pain.
Yeah.
Moving on. Am I the asshole if I don't tip at restaurants? 2 comments only on this one. I think that's going to be some short answers. Okay. I was listening to Hey, We Read Reddit Stories podcast, and there's an episode about a guy who goes to a restaurant to tip $100 at the end of the day to impress his date, and goes back and changes it to a $100 tip to a $20 tip. And they go on about how they think.
Oh.
People who don't tip are assholes. So has me thinking, am I really that big of an ass for not tipping for context clues? My view on tipping is pretty much what the general idea is of people who don't tip. I just don't think I should, this is bad typing here.
Yeah.
I just don't think I should, considering the fact that a person who is serving the food is already getting paid. Yes, I understand that they're dealing with the people on the day-to-day basis. And I also understand that some people survive off tips. But my thing is that, why did you accept that job? You know that they're paying bleep. Or why does it fall upon me to give you extra money when you're already getting paid for the service that you do? I mean, don't get me wrong, I can see why I should, but I'm more on the side that I shouldn't, and not that I can't afford a tip. I just don't want to tip because I don't see any value in doing it. If you guys have questions that you want to ask me to see where my mentality is for it, go ahead, shoot. I'll try to do my best to answer everyone, but I just need to see it. I'm not really that big of an asshole here.
Well, definitely the guy that goes and showboats and says he has $100 and then comes back later and takes it away.
There's no take backs either.
He or she or whoever is definitely a jerk and asshole.
Yeah.
But this guy, if you choose not to tip, now this is our opinions. Our opinions are a little different than I think most people's.
Yeah.
I think you and I are also like kind of just, you have your own money, you work for your own money, and you can spend your own money. And that's kind of how we feel. And it's not how everyone feels.
It's like the social obligation on like when you're at the checkout at the grocery store and like, we like to donate to X disease.
Yeah, no.
It's like, no, I'm not going to. No. Not because I don't want to cure that disease. It's because that company takes your money and donates it in their name.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No.
That's a whole side.
This is a tax break. Anyways, side thing.
Anyway.
But yeah, if he chooses not to spend his money and tip, then it's his choice.
Yeah.
The bill is the bill. Anything on top of that is extra. And I don't know if I feel
tipping is like a bonus. It's like,
I don't know if I feel comfortable with not tipping ever.
Yeah.
But
for the record, we do tip.
Yeah.
We tip every time. We do tip.
But we tip out of like social obligation.
Yeah.
Like it's like socially unacceptable not to tip. What he's doing is socially unacceptable.
Yeah.
But why does it have to be socially unacceptable?
Yeah. Other countries, no tipping.
Yeah. Like many, many other countries, there's no tipping. So
okay, this goes into the service level here on a different one here.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for not tipping because my waiter didn't wait on me?
Absolutely not.
So this is a short one.
Okay.
So I went to a sit-down restaurant last night, and a waiter, let's call him Brad, took my order and then disappeared. Didn't check in, didn't refill my drink, didn't even bring my food. Some random food runner did. Then the check came. Brad magically reappeared, circled the suggested tip, gave me a big smile like we'd been through something together. My guy, what am I tipping for? You didn't wait on me. You just took my order and vanished like a part-time magician. So I left no tip. Now my friends are calling me an asshole because that's just how restaurants work.
No, it's not how restaurants work.
You didn't do anything.
That's some BS right there.
This is the server entitlement that makes me mad.
Yeah.
So all you do is accept your order. He told someone what you want and disappeared. Someone else brought you to the end that he has a nerve to circle the tip thing? No.
Yeah. Like
zero.
Yeah.
0 tip.
You do need someone as a waiter or waitress. You do need them to come back to the table. How's everything going? How's that first bite going for you? Would you like a top up on whatever?
Yeah, this guy didn't do his job at all.
He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was kind of going back to what those restaurants where you go up, you pay and get your stuff and you sit down yourself, or you have maybe just one time someone brings you something.
Yeah.
That I don't think you should pay.
Yeah, that's tipping a cashier.
And that's what that guy did. So why not?
I'll get in the comments here. So circling the tip was simply too cheeky, says Huge Singer 7048. And then he says, it's fun to play dumb here. Hi, Brad. Read my waiter. I don't think I've seen you before. My waiter checked on me and refilled my drink. Be sure to tell him where to find so I can leave the tip with him.
If anything, the food runner should have
gotten the tip in that case.
At least he got fed from the food runner.
Oh, here. Help statistician says, tipping needs to die. Servers get minimum wage where I live, and it isn't a low minimum wage like in the USA, and they still expect 20%.
Yeah.
F off.
Yeah.
If anything, let me directly tip the kitchen instead of you tipping out. I'd rather run my own plate and fill my own water and tip the back of house if the food is good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And again, here in Canada, not every province has a different minimum wage, but I think it's probably all very similar. But ours is like nearly $18 an hour. That's not bad. Like, that's not a bad hourly rate. I mean, yeah, things are so hella expensive here, but like you can do something with
and
that.
some servers, there's a minimum shift thing now in BC.
Yes.
Where you get away with having someone show up for work for only 2 hours. So in that case, the tips make a difference. But if you're showing up at like 2 p.m. on a weekday, you're not making anything anyway, right?
Agreed. But in that situation, I think that's policy. That's a problem. Like, you shouldn't be able to. It should be a minimum of 4 hours at least.
Yeah.
And if it isn't, and you keep getting those bum shifts, like, leave.
You can quit.
Like, again, that's one of the points that everyone else is saying. Like, why are you in the industry if you are so reliant on people's generosity?
We have David Norick saying, I'm a waiter with over 10 years experience. Tell your friends that I said you are 100% not the asshole. The server didn't take care of you, so he deserved nothing. And then I guess all the appeases, the OP says, thank you so much for this. I'm good at tipping, but when someone does no more, sometimes less than a cashier at a fast food restaurant, they don't deserve it.
Probably less than a cashier.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. He didn't work. He didn't do anything.
Yeah.
0 tip.
I'm one of those people who's super impressed by the people at McDonald's, where they're taking like 3 orders of and they're punching it in, and then they're giving people's
cash is their machines. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
How do you take on someone's order and say hello to someone in front of you and give them their change back and then get their custom stuff in their ear? Like, I have no idea how they do that, but I am not worthy.
It's madness.
It's easier than bringing someone, or harder than bringing someone.
Am I the asshole for tipping my tattoo artist? I don't have any tattoos, so I can't speak from first-hand experience, but my brother and sister do, and out here in BC at least, it's customary to tip your tattoo artist. I don't know how much, but let's get into it here. I, female 20, have 11 tattoos. The same tattoo artist did 9 out of them, including the very first tattoo I got when I was 18. I like this guy a lot. He is still in university, but I found him because he was a great artist in a very respectable and well-regarded studio in my country's capital. I believe he's in his mid-20s. I've never had a bad tattoo experience with him. He charges relatively low, and his work is always amazing. He'll be opening his own shop soon, and I always like to chat and catch up when I'm getting a new piece. The last few times I went to get tattooed, I tipped him 50 euros, just a small courtesy. He has given me random discounts before because I provided him with customers. I know at least 4 people that I've sent to him. And because I only got multiple tattoos in one session, meaning he only had to get the machine up once. I know this might seem like a lot, but I work and earn my own money, and if I was pressed for it, I would not be getting a tattoo. So me, the 50 pounds or 50 euros are supposed to be a nice gesture, just because I really like this dude. His work is great, and I've always felt super comfortable getting tattooed by him. My boyfriend has gotten tattoos from this guy, as well as due to me for recommending him. He always brings me along. The last few times, I brought my boyfriend to my appointments as well. Last week, my boyfriend saw me give the artist a tip. He was quiet as we left, then asked if I had too much money to spare in a pissed off way. I was taken aback, and he said something weird about my tattoo artist following me back on Instagram, but not following him back. My tattoo artist does not have an insane following, but he clearly does not follow everyone back. Think something like 8,000 followers, 1,000 following. I never thought much of it. I've been seeing his tattoo artist, bad typing here, I've been seeing this tattoo artist for almost 2 years after all, and he has posted pictures of his work on me. I asked my boyfriend if he was jealous, and he got even more mad, saying that I'm being completely ridiculous even suggesting something like that. Then he said I'm financially irresponsible, and how can he trust me to act right in a relationship in the future if I intend to go out and carelessly spend my money on other people? I don't see how I did anything wrong, but he's not usually one to become this aggravated. So I was wondering if maybe, am I being ridiculous and stupid?
Okay, on average, a small tattoo is going to be anywhere from $250 to $1,000 for like a small or whatever, like smallish. €50 or if you're paying, anywhere $250 to €1,000.
25% on.
That's not much. And as an artist myself, the amount of time and years of dedication you have to put in to your work to get to the level where you're paid to do it is incredibly long and difficult. And so someone tipping an artist makes more sense to me than tipping someone who can bring a drink. Anyone can bring a drink.
Absolutely.
Not anyone can draw on a body, which is not...
That's going to be on there forever.
Yeah, it's permanent. And it's not only like just the art part of it, you're also the medical part of it too, making sure everything's sanitized and all that stuff. That's all stuff to learn as well and to master. But the art is like, if he's 20, let's say he's 25, he's probably been doing work since he was like 3 or 4, and like dedicated doing work, just not necessarily tattoo kind of work, but just work. Yeah, that makes sense to me to tip someone like that.
Yeah, I think this boyfriend is just a jerk.
I think he's jealous.
He's a jerk. He's jealous.
Her first initial thought, I think, is right. I think he's just like, oh, he's following you back on Instagram. Hey, he must want your pants. No, he is thrilled with the fact that this person has trusted him for years, even when he was beginning, and has brought multiple thousands worth of dollars or euros to him and built his portfolio up. That is why he's following her. He appreciates her. Like, even if he liked her, doesn't matter.
Maybe she's really hot too, but even then, who cares?
Like he's not doing anything. She's just like, the tip is for like the good work and like the continuing work, and like if he gave discounts before, then she's even anyway, probably.
So let's get into the comments here. 3 pigeons in a coat.
I love the names.
They say, I feel that in the US you're pretty much supposed to tip each person who you come across during the day. At least it seems so at this point. And then there's a response, useful emphasis, says, the one thing I hate the most about US is tipping culture, and it's spreading to other countries too. And Defiant McPiper says, I've always tipped my artist. I've only had 2, which isn't bad for having 20 tattoos, because I know what all goes on during the service, and my current artist does give me discounts because of being a return customer. I know it's not required, but I appreciate what he does. So that's really what it is. It's about just showing appreciation for his work in the arts and everything else.
And like how long someone has to dedicate.
Yeah. And it is a bonus, not an obligation. They're giving it because they want to.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't have to next time. Like the artist most likely won't expect it. Yeah. They'll hopefully maybe like hope for it.
But if there's not a bunch on you, they're going to be like, yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if someone has spent that many hours touching your body, you should be kind of like friends at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Am I the asshole for not leaving a tip for the rude waitress?
No.
Being rude changes things.
You're supposed to be in the service industry.
It changes things once you're rude to somebody.
Customer service.
Yeah. So a couple of my friends that I've not seen in about a year were in town tonight, and we decided that it would be fun to meet up for dinner. We ordered our drinks, and I asked politely if I could have a straw for mine. I have some medical issues going on. It's hard for me to drink without one. The waitress told me that they cut out straws. I let her know at this point that I have some medical things going on that make it hard for me to drink without one. She again told me they were out of straws. Okay, so there's a typo. They don't cut out straws. They were just out of straws.
They're out of straws. Yeah.
I tried to let it go and just carefully sip my drink. She then takes to order the table next to us, and the gal orders a milkshake. The waitress brings it in, and the gal asks if she can get a straw for it because of the messy whipped cream. The waitress is like, sure, no problem, and gets one.
Are you
super stereo? So at this point, I'm a little frustrated. I decided I'd politely speak to the manager. I'll let her know what was going on. She understood and brought me a straw. So there is straws. Cool issue solved, and I was letting it go and trying to enjoy dinner with my friend. But then the waitress comes back and has to loudly, condescendingly ask, so is the manager going to bring straws for the whole table or just for you? Ooh.
This is after he said, I have some medical issues. Like, why would you press that?
So I sat shocked for a moment and told her that it was just myself that needed one, and she stormed away. I always tip 15% minimum. Context, I'm in the USA. Always. But tonight, I didn't leave a tip. My friends left a small one, but they were equally upset for me. What they left was not 50% or even close to it. I think if someone is a rude server, automatic zero. Even if the bill is like $300. If you're rude, you're not getting anything.
I mean, she could have...
And she gave a straw to the other table.
Yeah, she could have brought a straw out. She was probably told by management, hey, like, we're trying to, like, get rid of straws. Don't, you know, whatever. Saying no initially because your management has said we're just phasing them out is fine. But then when someone says, well, actually, you know, like, my medical issues, I
have a situation.
You know, I have a situation, whatever it may be. Can you help me? That's when she should have been like, okay, absolutely, no problem. Let us see. I'll check in the back, whatever. And then just bring out the straw. You know you have them. Just bring them out. That's the reason why.
Maybe she was jealous because she was prettier.
Anyways.
I don't know.
But to do that in front of them afterward, to like
confront
her a straw out, and also why the milkshake person? Why is it cool for the milkshake person to have a straw and not this person?
Yeah, there's something petty going on behind the scenes.
That's so rude.
Let's get some comments here. So Intelligent Maine 548 says 9 out of 10. I'm all for backing the server. This is what 1 in 10 where this is not the case.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I work hospo too. Some days are rougher than others, but you sound like you're being reasonable and very polite. If I was a shift manager, I would have given her a dressing down and sent her home.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, because like
especially
if I was causing a scene in the dining room, like that reflects badly on the entire restaurant.
Oh yeah, and especially with someone with like needs, like extra needs.
I watched a lot of shows like Restaurant Impossible and like the Gordon Ramsay Kitchen Nightmares and all that. And a lot of the chefs that are fixing the show, they'll explain to the staff that the dining room is like a stage. And what happens on stage has to be perfect. Sometimes people are going to slip up and things, but for the most part, it has to be perfect all the time. You have to have that. Even if it's just a facade, it has to look perfect.
Yeah.
And if you have one of your actors flipping out and causing a scene, ruining the scene, they can't stay around.
Yeah. And because she was that mad, I think the manager probably did take her aside and say, look, like
everyone would have heard that.
That person explained to you that they had a medical need and you just ignored them.
Unless it was like Earl's where it's super loud.
Oh, this makes me so mad.
So M48 Apocalypse says, not the asshole, that waitress sounds rude. Maybe she was having a bad day, but that doesn't justify her behavior. Does anyone disagree? I don't think anyone disagrees.
Why would they?
Yeah, you are not the asshole. Valid reason to not tip. She blatantly lied to you, doubled down on it when you said you had a medical condition, and then went out of her way to try and embarrass you when she was called out on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so, can you imagine being yelled at for that?
Yeah, and like you're there just to eat some food, relax with family, friends.
I believe her friends tipped. Why would they tip?
Yeah.
She should have gotten nothing. Negative.
Should
have paid for the meal.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Having said that, as a manager, I would have comped their meals.
That's what a good manager would do.
Makes me mad. All right. Move on.
Moving on. It's getting hot. It's getting hot in here. I think this one's getting into the group situation when you're splitting costs with.
Oh, that's always tricky.
It's always messy. Okay.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for expecting a slice of pizza or two after paying a $20 tip? I, 37 female, work as a security guard. Over 2 weeks ago, there was a party. My clients, the people I guard, had pizza delivered. I'm at the front desk. I accept the pizza and tell the clients the pizza is here. They ask if I could tip the driver. I figured, why not? All I had was a $20 bill, so I gave it to the driver. I wait a bit and ask for a couple slices. They inform me the pizza is for staff only. I informed my personnel boss, and he said it was out of his control. I was a little upset with everyone. I put in my 2 weeks notice. I was supposed to work 3 more days, but a different guard there. I wasted 2 hours of my time. I couldn't talk to anyone in my chain of command, so I left. Next day, I'm fired for job abandonment. My boss said I should have kept my mouth shut. Am I the asshole for expecting a slice of pizza or two after paying $20 for a tip? I get paid less than my clients as it is. So this person just received the pizza, passed it on to the other workers, and she tipped out of her own pocket.
Why would they expect her to tip out of her pocket?
That is crazy.
When you say, hey, can you tip the
driver? She didn't order the pizza.
You'd expect those people to be like, no problem, I got you back. Just tell me what you tipped them.
Yeah.
If they didn't want to share.
And they should reimburse her immediately.
Immediately? Like, what'd you tip? Okay, here you go.
And here's my $20.
And then she won't feel like she's entitled to the pizza.
Yeah, this is weird.
But it's also so rude. Like, even when you did do that, like, and you didn't expect her to want the pizza, like, give her a slice, man.
Yeah, like
share. Like,
share
it's all worth
the
eating
pie.
together.
Yeah, but like for this person who didn't order anything,
Yeah.
she paid the tip.
Yeah.
Like, you could buy a whole pizza for $20.
That
must have been a lot of pizza if the tip was $20.
That's so rude. I can't even believe
That must have been like $100 a pizza.
And yeah, to be that disrespected, I'm glad that she put her 2 weeks notice in. But then isn't firing her over that type of behavior or over that type of thing like actually?
Well, technically because she didn't come back to work.
Oh, she didn't come back.
But you're quitting anyway, so who cares?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. This is a weird one.
But what a jerk.
What a jerk.
Or jerks. There's multiple people who could have.
Was that guy 6'6" and his name was Fred? This is a total Fred move. And this one says, Margot says, I'm sorry, I'm not carrying cash. Why would you tip for him? Crazy. And Squibbit314 says, a coworker once sent out an email to our team asking to borrow money for rent.
Oh.
I was young and naive. I almost loaned it to him until a coworker talked me out of it.
Oh my gosh.
She asked me if I expected to be paid back. I said yes. He said the side never has money. Now it doesn't have money for rent. Why do you think he would have money to pay you back? Point made, lesson learned. Prior to that, in my friend group, we loaned someone else money. It was never a lot, but we always paid each other back. Never after that did I have a coworker send an email out to the team asking to borrow money for anything, let alone rent.
What a weird thing to. Oh my gosh. I mean, yes, desperation sometimes happens, but like
this is bad behavior, rude behavior.
That's how you get yourself fired. Like, so inappropriate. And then you're in an even worse spot.
Yeah.
Just alienated everyone at the work.
Maybe that guy plans on quitting, or he knows he's getting fired.
Oh my. Yeah, he's just gonna take the rent and then he's just gonna bounce.
Totally. That was totally off topic.
So weird. Yes. So uncomfortable.
But this paying the tip for someone else?
No.
Baloney.
Completely unacceptable. And like should have even just been like, if you gone back there and you said, hey, can I have a couple slices? And they said no, I would have immediately been like, tip please. I just spent $20. If I'm not getting a slice, give me my $20.
Yeah, give me $20 back.
Or just leave it at that.
But for the boss to be like, it's out of their control, it's like, no.
The boss has $20 to tip.
Anger.
This thread is...
It stirs something from deep within. Oh, this one's on the server end.
Okay, yeah, we need that.
Okay.
Because some people treat people like absolute garbage.
So a lot of restaurants, there's two ways that tips work. It's either like, I brought you your food, then you tip me and I keep all the tips, or there's shared tips where everyone just puts in a big pot and then it's divided up equally for the night. So this sounds like a shared pot situation. Okay, so am I the asshole if I don't share my full tips? I work as a waiter on weekends. I have an older regular grandmother type who comes and asks to sit at my tables. She says I remind her of her son, and I always take the time to speak with her when I can and build a friendship because she seems lonely. This is a nice thing to do.
That is, yeah.
So she's recently begun leaving really generous 50% tips for me because I talk to her and I know her orders by heart.
Oh.
I'm positive that if another server would be assigned to her table, they get the regular 20%. We have a strict pooling system to share all tips, and ideally, it's no matter the amount. However, I think she would stop giving 50% if she knew it wasn't going to me.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking of doing is just sharing the standard 20% and keeping the 30% above. Am I the asshole if I do that? Edit. There is a great suggestion in the thread below from YouPatty1899 that I explain the situation to the clients and then explain how she can give me extra present outside of the restaurant, only if she is so inclined. I think that solves the issue, no?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say too.
Yeah.
Explain it to her.
If she wants to like get you something else, or maybe just like give you a card with extra tip hidden inside.
I think that's the right thing to do, but to be honest, I also don't feel bad about them keeping their extra 30% because they are the ones that are making her feel safe and welcome, and they're the only reasons why she's coming to that place, probably.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are going above and beyond.
Yeah. And like for the other servers, it's like, well, the policy is everything in.
Yeah. But
like,
he's not just taking it though.
But he's got a special customer.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't, like he says, like we probably wouldn't tip that for
I might
people.
put 25% in, more than your average.
Yeah. I don't know. Is that considered theft or fraud or anything? Any lawyers out there in the comments watching?
Yeah, actually that's
if you don't put in all your pooled tips.
But if it's not a signed contract with you, like when you go into the restaurant, you sign a contract saying that all these tips are pooled or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't think.
Because it's kind of like unspoken for money, like, because it's not on any receipts. Like if it's like pay by credit card, yeah. But like if it's cash and there's free tip cash floating around, it's like undocumented income.
Yeah.
So
I also actually had this situation happen to me. Very similar actually, but the owner of the restaurant was a horrible cow and would just would steal my tips.
Yeah.
Just take them from me. I was only 15. I didn't know, but I was, very friendly, and I would do the same thing. I'd build up these relationships and whatever. And this one like lovely old couple, they gave me $5 and they put it in my hand. They're like, I just want to make sure that you have this. This is for you and no one else. Like they were like kind of maybe they were catching on to like the fact that the tips were being swiped so I was like, okay, well, thank you so much. And I put it in my thing or whatever. And then as soon as I went back behind the counter, the owner was just like, you can't keep that.
That was a gift.
Yeah, you're not allowed to have tips at this place. And I was like, well, I've been giving tips and I haven't seen any of them. So what are you doing with the tips? Like, and she was just like, you can't accept tips, blah, blah, blah. And like basically just literally took it out of my thing and walked away. And as a 15-year-old, I was like, okay. Now I'd be like,
yeah.
But I mean,
she is nuts. We have stories for later, but
like, you don't just take money from a 15-year-old that was clearly put in the hand by an older person that I made feel good, right? Like, yeah, I mean, I get where he's coming from. But like you said, if they have agreed, then it is a bit of a gray area.
Yeah.
For sure.
Technically unethical to take what's above.
I think he should just initially explain it to her and just say, I really appreciate these extra tips you're giving me. I just want you to know that we do pool our tips. So a lot of that extra is not really going to me. If you feel so inclined, I would love a birthday card every month. That's all you need to say.
Yeah.
If she's within her right mind, she's going to get it. She'll get that.
So this is kind of like
a thank you card every month.
Sticky issue. On a technical sense, he would be the asshole, but he's trying to be nice about it. So he's just got to talk to people, figure out the situation, and not get in trouble and don't get fired.
Yeah.
And the IRS will always get what they're owed.
Yeah. That's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
Comments. Strike Match says, you're the asshole. I was a server quite a while ago. What you're doing is extremely shady. Pooling has its downsides, but when you win, the whole team should win.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a response from Bailey Bugs saying, but he is winning because of his service. Why should the whole team be winning?
Yeah, everyone needs to be given that exceptional service.
Yeah, and then Bamboo Investor says, well, because next time another server might get a generous tip, and that will be equally split. That's it. Your tips split equally. One day you carry the team with generous tips, and the next day someone else will. That's how it is in an ideal and fair environment, but while sometimes not all waiters are honest. This is not to diss OP, but is meant generally.
Yeah, I still kind of stand what I said.
Yeah, but she comes in specifically for him.
And the owner is benefiting from that.
Yeah, because the owner is not paying that much.
So I guess where I stand is that I do not agree with pooled tips. I do not agree with that. If you F up and you're a terrible server, you're going to get what you get.
Like the guy from earlier that did no work.
Yeah, exactly. So that
guy shouldn't deserve extra.
Getting this guy's tip every day.
Yeah.
And that's not cool, man.
Not cool.
Not cool. Anyways, I think you're, I don't know if you're an asshole, but I don't think you're perfectly innocent either.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll call it,
that's a rock in a hard place. I don't know.
Slightly sketch, but, meaning well. Am I the asshole for not giving a customer 3 cents from the tip jar? So I guess like a take a penny situation. Take a penny, leave a penny. So I'm new to Reddit, so this is fairly new to me. But hello to all. I, 17-year-old female, work in a Subway. Oh, see a Subway.
I worked at Subway for like 2 years.
It's a first job, but I've been working there for about 8 months now. I'm used to crappy, rude people, and I've accepted that not everyone may be nice. But I do have one regular customer who comes in all the time and gives me a hard and rough day each and every time she comes. The last time she came, she of course gave me a terrible attitude and was extremely rude and picky. I brushed it off. Of course, her being her usual rude self. I didn't think anything was new, so I continued with taking her order. When I go to ring her up, she is short 3 cents. Now, I'm a very kind person, and if I have a few extra cents to spare in my jar, I sure as hell will help someone with a few extra cents when I can. When I told her she was short 3 cents, she said, well, you can just let it slide. And I kept looking at my tip jar, full of random change. I told her, unfortunately, I couldn't because my boss is strict on the exact change, but I can gladly hold her food while she grabs 3 cents since she would go grab a few cents from her car. I said, okay. Then she came back without the 3 cents, snatched her $7 back from my hand, and left without her food, obviously in a bad mood. Although I felt bad that I didn't help her with the 3 cents when I could have, I wanted her to be reminded not to bite the hand that fed her, literally. Maybe she's nicer next time. I do feel bad though. I haven't seen her since that day, but I wish nothing but well. So tell me, am I the asshole?
I don't think she's the asshole, but she's a bad employee. Like, you've lost that customer for your... Yeah, she sucked. And
on a personal level,
yeah,
I say good for you.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
On a professional level,
not so good.
Not your company.
Yeah.
So
not if it was your company, you can be like, I'm sorry, I don't want to serve you anymore.
Yeah.
And I was lucky when I worked at Subway, the person that, like, our manager and the owner said, if anyone comes in and treats you like crap, you tell them to get out.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're already done, you just put the sub away and say, sorry, we're done.
Yeah.
We're done here.
And
so he gave us permission to do that, which was like amazing.
Then here in BC, we have the right to refuse service. So for any reason, if someone's mistreating you, you can be like, I can't serve you, and you can walk away and you cannot get fired.
You're done.
You cannot get fired to that.
But, don't know where she is or whatever. But
yeah,
like, let's say that person comes in, obviously quite often. Let's say they come in like 3-4 times a month. Like, that's a lot of revenue to have lost.
Yeah, Subway's expensive now.
Yeah, that's
like $16 a sub.
That's a lot of revenue to have lost your boss. And
yeah,
over 3 cents, I would have been like, kill them with kindness. Instead, every time they're super picky, just be like, no problem. Like, just be overly, obviously, annoyingly kill them.
So for me, I would have given them 3 cents.
Yeah, I would have done it too.
Just for being a good employee.
I would be like, you know what, honey? I'm going to take this out of my tips just for you. Like, make it like, you're not deserving this, but I'm going to do this anyway. And just be like, and just next time, you can be extra nice to me. Like, remind her that she's being a... But yeah, so...
Oh, then she'll come back to the manager. That girl was snarky.
Yeah, she was snarky. I need a free sub. But you know what? Maybe she taught her a lesson. Maybe she embarrassed her. Like, maybe she realized, oh, I've not been nice to this person. She wasn't even willing to give me 3 cents. Like,
going deeper into it.
But I doubt it.
It's like, when you're 17, it's Subway. You're not working for, like, the Marriott. Like, it's Subway. And you're going to quit that job.
More than likely.
What you did, bad for business, but totally worth it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
I loved hearing it. I loved hearing that. And that's something you'll remember too. Like, later on in life, you'll be like, yeah, I remember that terrible person that I told off.
In the comments, we have Sheeps and Birds saying, and the next time it would be 10 cents, then 20, then 50.
Yeah, that's true.
So the pattern would continue. Oh, I'm short $1. I'm short $5.
True. Yeah, because people like that are very entitled to things. Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that.
Let's see. Do we have time for one more?
Sure.
Oh, this is a tactical one, and it's short.
Okay, good.
So this is going to be juicy comments with a short story. This comes from @KetonFox. Am I the asshole for tipping based on subtotal, not full total?
I like this.
You are not. The technical correct way of tipping is based on subtotal.
Yeah.
Because
you don't
tip on tax. So like the government's getting their cut and you're taking a bit on top of that and giving that to the server. I don't think so. That is incorrect.
Nope.
You do not tip on tax.
And plus, if you look at it this way, when policies change and taxes raise or lower, that shouldn't have anything to do with how much tip you're giving. So like...
There is an exception though, if you have a gift card or a coupon.
Okay.
So if you have a gift card or coupon, you tip based on what the original amount would have been.
Yeah.
So say if it's like a $20 item and you have 50% off and you're paying $10, you don't tip on the $10, you tip on the $20.
The $20. Yeah, that makes sense.
But still not tipping on the tax.
But it should be, let's say it comes to $21.50, you tip on the 20 and not the $10 and 50 and or $11.50. Like, that's
comments. It's not like you're not tipping, but on the other hand, you're not tipping fully. This one's tough. I go with not the asshole only because you still tip. I don't know
Why
what.
would you tip on tax?
And then why Kayla do says, not the asshole, at least you're tipping. As someone who works as a server even tips, something is always better than nothing. But I mean, if you can afford it, tipping on the full amount is cool. Kraysu says, etiquette experts say that you are not the asshole. I typically do 20% on the full amount, but if you are in no way required to include the tax in your tip, either legally or societally. Yeah, there's no obligation to tax on tip.
Yeah. I mean, typically I just hit the button of 10%, 15%, 20%, whatever button there is.
Yeah.
And that probably does do the
That does the
taxes.
tax, yeah.
If I were actually counting it out, then I probably would do pre-taxes. But
Yeah.
generally speaking, I just hit the button.
And like on a cheaper meal, I'll be like, whatever, I'll press the button.
Yeah.
But like when the meal is like $250 or something,
yeah,
you're going to look at a little close.
Then you should just do $25 if you're doing 10%,
Yeah.
whatever, $25.
So we have another one, sleepy bitch disorder. I don't think you're the asshole in the slightest. However, I think of it this way. Plenty of people don't tip at all. So I always round up just because I know servers have hard jobs, don't get paid well, and deal with a lot of assholes. So I figure I can spare the extra dollar to do something nice for them. So you're definitely not the asshole, but why nitpick? No one is going to berate you for not tipping on the full total. I think it's an easy way to do a little good deed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so it's like as a little bonus, instead of 15 or 20%, it'll actually be like 25 to 30 if you have the tax on there. It's like on $100.
Yeah.
Tax
it adds up.
is $5.
Yes.
And you're tipping on that. Someone whose name is deleted says you don't even need to tip. No, that's all.
That's true.
Yeah.
But you know what? Going into the ending of this and getting like, because I think we're good.
Yeah.
Going into the ending of this, let me just say for myself, I'm not going to speak for my husband, but for myself, I have the utmost respect for anyone who's in service industries, any industry that serves people, customers, because you do get treated like shit sometimes, and you still, because you don't most of the time are not owning that company, you still have to put that little smile on and do that little
customer service
thing and feel like, crap when you get home.
And for me, like, I've commented on other YouTube videos about tipping, and people just rip me in the comments.
Yeah.
They're not kind to me in the comments about it.
They get a little aggressive.
Yeah. But it is also like a national thing too, right? Because like here in Canada, you get a wage plus your tips. I know in the States, you got issues, so many issues. But here in Canada, so many issues. We still love you down there though. We're neighbors.
Yeah. As he takes a long sip.
We're neighbors. And we love you.
Oh man, we seem like such assholes right now.
Yeah. So for the record, yes, I do tip every single time.
Yeah, we do.
Unless
they suck.
Unless it's like that person earlier.
Yeah. That
did nothing. If you do nothing, I will zero tip you.
Yeah. Or if you're super rude, or
if you're rude, I will zero tip you.
Yeah. Or if we overhear something that is not right, that's going to reflect on your tip too. So
yeah.
But yeah, we always do.
For us, like the amount is not automatic. Like typically like 15-ish% is what's normal in our area at least.
Yeah, 10 to 15%, depending on like 10 is like when you do like kind of like an average job.
20 is like, hey, they were pretty good. And 25 is like, they brought me extra pie for my birthday or something.
Yeah, you've done a little bit of, yeah.
Yeah.
People might think we're cheap, but.
Yeah. No, we kind of are.
We are a little bit, but.
It's funny because I think I don't want to get myself in trouble here.
You already have.
Oh, I'm already a TD. I've stepped in it.
People are already going to be like, who's this bitch?
Yeah. I think as part of American culture, it's just an expectation. Regardless of what state you're in or what your minimum wage is, that you're to give 20%. And that's your thing. You keep that in your country. You don't want to hear. Because here we pay our people. We pay our people at least minimum wage. I can get so many hate comments on this video.
I was like, bro, just keep digging. Like,
yeah.
Here's your.
I'm going to double down on this. Because it's ridiculous. You go to like the liquor store. The cashier expects you to tip.
Mm-hmm.
You go to a farmer's market. They expect you to tip. Like I'm buying an $8 croissant. I shouldn't have to tip $3 on it because you pass it over the counter.
Yeah, I think
let's be realistic here.
Tipping has gone like way over at this point. Like it's like crazy. When you go to your dry cleaner and you pick up your dry cleaning, you've paid your fee.
Yeah.
Like why tip? Like that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But now there's tipping on everything.
Yeah.
So it's like we're just getting so tired of it.
There's even tipping on YouTube.
There is.
with the super likes and things.
He's almost there, you guys.
But that's
Like and subscribe.
That's a real bonus. Yes. If you don't hate me, please like
Even if you hate
the
it,
video.
comment.
Yeah.
Comment
that you hate me.
It's rage bait. This is all just rage bait.
Yeah, it's the algorithm.
Yeah, it's for comment.
Yeah. So like, there's super likes and the live videos and stuff like you can do that.
But again, that's an artist.
But that's like a bonus thing.
Yeah, it's a bonus.
It's like, I'm not sitting here saying like, if you don't give me 5 stickers, you don't deserve to watch my channel.
Right. If you don't subscribe, don't dare come back and watch another video.
If you're sending me stickers and super likes and whatever they call it now, I appreciate it. But you don't have to do it. I don't expect
You don't expect it. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, don't be entitled for things that are extra. Okay? Yeah. Even if you do a great job, don't be entitled for things.
I can only beg you to click the like button. That's
Please like the video.
It's free.
Please comment down what your opinion is on tipping, and if you do. And
I think I've upset an entire nation after this video.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go run and hide in a bunker. We'll see you next time.
Bye.